What's good, everybody? It is Friday, September 16th, 2022. This is the Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty sports site, the best value in all of sports betting, and it is not close. Today is a very bittersweet day for me and the crew at the brand. It happens. It happens. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened yesterday. Thank goodness for Alabama. She nails the Houston Astros, but the Twins let the Royals score a late run. Thank you very much. But the true frustration lies in Thursday night football. The under now 0-4. That's fine. But when the Chiefs allow a broken quarterback to complete a 40-yard pass with one arm, minus 3.5. The worst bad beat so far this season. That is awful. So, Jake the Snake, bring me back on camera. So sometimes you got to draw a line in the sand. Sometimes you got to say, hey, listen, when you have a day like that, which a lot of people had, I admit, but we're not like a lot of people. We like to change it up. So what do you do when the NFL bites you in the butt? You go to college and you bring in three of the greatest minds that the world has to offer. And that's what we're doing right here, right now. Look what I have at my fingertips. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I heard him talking about owls on CBS Sports HQ. That's how extreme he is. Emory Hunt, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be on the show and early out the way. Yeah, take the Cajuns and lay those points with the Cajuns because, again, Cajuns and rice do not mix.
They don't mix.
And we're moving on to 16 in a row. I'm glad you said that. Chip, you in charge of the top 25. Where my Cajuns at?
Where's his Cajuns at, Chip?
Hey, listen, I'll tell you what. Beating rice won't get the attention of the voters. It'll at least get you a little bit closer. But, beating food only gets you so far.
That's true. Apparently, they have these new nice helmets that Emory was talking. They got new nice helmets, apparently.
The throwbacks.
Hey, I watched my crew. Are you kidding me? I watched my crew. Now, he is the man himself. Chip Patterson, what shows are you on throughout the week? Where can the good people see you all week?
Woo, boy, Cover 3 podcast. Always the Early Edge on Wednesdays and on Fridays in the afternoon and the morning. And, buddy, I seen my CBS Sports HQ lineup for Saturday. Show. A live betting hour in the middle of the day. Come on. You know I'm everywhere on Saturday.
Educate, and my man entertains. Now, I can't get enough of Chip Patterson. However, this morning, I wake up and I open my phone, and on Twitter, I see video after video after video of Alan Bell, our five-tool player all over the place. AB, how do you have time for us?
I know, right? Well, let me say this. I like that 24/7 Sports went out of their way just to ruin your Friday morning and said, but how can we make it terrible for Coach here? Let me say this also. Last night, it is a good example of how good bets can still lose. Patrick Mahomes interception, we had it twice. Right? Chiefs team total over 28. We had it. We should have been almost near perfect last night. But it goes to show there are no such things as should-haves in betting. You just got to suck it up. Get ready for the next one. But, yeah, man. Good bets can lose. Just keep that in mind. Yeah.
I always amazed when I see people on Twitter. It's usually the miserable ones that don't really understand the business. They're like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. If it loses, it's a losing bet. No, it's not really. This is a business. It's a game. There's a lot of ways to win, and there's a lot of ways to lose. By the way, John in the chat says, what is Chip's morning drink of choice? I need whatever it is.
Jet fuel.
Yeah,
jet fuel.
Kerosene, baby.
Are you a coffee guy? Or you're a coffee guy?
Yeah, black coffee.
Black coffee. Oh, you and my mom would get along just fine.
Oh, also, 2 boys ages 2 and 5 months. That'll wake you up real quick.
Oh, snap. We got the little ones at home. Okay.
I've had a head start on everybody at this point.
Yeah, you've got 2 little ones. I have buckets. We all have our cross to bear. All right, let's get into it. Storylines could affect the betting lines today. And I see a word in my rundown that you never like to see when you're talking about sports betting, and that is sketchy. Very sketchy. Chip, you're up.
Yes, I have declared this sketch week in college football. You would not trust this week to house sit. You would not trust this week to dog sit. And you definitely would not give your car to week 3 in college football. The teams you can't trust, the matchups you can't trust. Nebraska, are we going to get a dead count bounce with Scott Frost out and Mickey Joseph in? Penn State and Sean Clifford on the road? No way. But Auburn at home? You can't trust the Tigers either. Guys, speaking of sketch, you got Bobby Petrino showing up back at Arkansas this week. Missouri State in Fayetteville. Can't trust Oregon for anything. Don't know what to do with Texas UTSA. And Texas A&M, we'll get into that game a little bit later, but that quarterback situation, what do you make of it? It is a very, very sketchy week. Intrigue, interest, yes, but not anything that you can really trust.
You know, Texas A&M can take a lot of credit for the fact that everybody in college football is going to Boone, North Carolina. They're the new toast of the town, apparently. You beat Michigan 20 years ago. You have another big win last week. Let's go bananas. By the way, my man Amags in the chat says people that say it's a bad bet, easy for me to say, just because it loses are probably short-term thinkers. Now, by the way, Amags, I follow a lot of people. Check him out on Twitter. He's got a lot of good baseball bets. I like him a lot. All right. Now, AB, if there's one thing I know is that you're going to find me a little Chick-fil-A nugget of the day that maybe I wasn't thinking about. And if we go to the Rocky Mountains, I know there's a team there that we can find some value on. Who are we talking about?
Yes, sir. Aim high, Air Force, baby. Look, they are on fire. This team is leading the country in rushing yards per game. They are averaging, 508.5 rushing yards per game. All right. And in second place, Air Force is 206 yards above them. That's how prolific this rushing attack is. They are smashing overs while doing so. 2-0 to that. Look, they just blasted Colorado 41-10 last week with 435 rushing yards and 5 rushing TDs. This team is on fire. You're going to get to see them tonight against Wyoming, and I got a feeling got a little play on
that. It's just a gut. It's just a gut feeling, but I have a feeling that's something we might do. All right. 2 great storylines right there. But now it's time to get into our board for the day. Why do we give you college football a day before, 3 days before? What's the name of the show? It's called The Early Edge. Yeah, early. You don't want to get there and say, hey, how come I got it at 21 and the guys from Early Edge got it at 19? That's why we're here. But before we get to our board, you know we've grown so large. Emory makes so much money. We got to pay the bills. So here's a word from one of our incredible partners. And we are back. All of you watching on YouTube, listening on Apple, listening on Spotify. Here is our board for the day. And don't forget, today, Early Edge in 5 at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. At the same, 3:30 Eastern Time today, because at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we've got our Props Spectacular with Uncle Dave and Prop Stars. So it's a busy day at the brand. But right here and right now, I'm going to a man who last week, as a throwaway, he goes, oh, Coach, by the way, Incarnate Word over Nevada. Guess what happened? Incarnate Word beat Nevada. Emory Hunt, the man who finds all the games nobody wants to watch and cashes tickets. You're up, sir.
Well, thank you for that introduction. And that's why I like to give people a little bit of everything. So football, lanyard, football potpourri, as we like to call it, or we just bring you around the football world. So let's start in the CFL. Tonight, Saskatchewan takes on Edmonton. Good news, bad news situation for the Elks. They get back outstanding rookie quarterback Trey Ford. Bad news, he's just going to be the backup because he returned from injury. And even more bad news, they're facing Saskatchewan, who's gotten a break speed off of them the last couple of weekends. So this is a get-right game for Saskatchewan. I love the fact that they can run the football. Their defense will be excellent. Edmonton's offense is struggling once again. So lay the 7 points or 7.5 where you can find it. Lay those points with Saskatchewan. Also, now in college football, major college football, LSU. If you look at Jaden Daniels, no turnovers, 5 touchdown passes, 80% completion percentage, over 160-something yards on the ground rushing, 7 yards a carry, 207 yards rushing he had, I think, so far in the season. LSU's biggest strength is their defense, their ability to get pressure, and their ability to cover on the back end. We know Mississippi State wants to throw the football all around the yard. This is a strength versus strength battle. I like LSU's strength. And the hit nugget here, LSU gets back their best tailback on the roster in John Emory. Much better offense than we saw against Florida State. Take LSU in the points. And lastly, going down to the FCS, the HBCU level, we got to start listening to Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. When Fat Joe said yesterday's price ain't today's price, well, last year's offensive line ain't today's offensive line, because this offensive line is beating dudes up front. So lay the 20.5 points for Jackson State, or with Jackson State, against Grambling, and those three should get you covered for the weekend.
Isn't it crazy the voice that Deion Sanders now has in college football?
It's less and less crazy every single week. I mean, the way that they keep putting it up. I mean, you know what's really mean? They show Jackson State highlights during Florida State games. I mean, if I was Mike Norvell, I'd be heated. I mean, you're just giving the candy out there to the Seminole fans.
Trust me, Chip, I was at ESPN for 10 years. The producers aren't thinking that far behind or that far ahead. Most of them don't even know that connection. Trust me on that. All right, now, Emory, 3 great games. I think something that's never been said on the early edge before is a get-right game for Saskatchewan. It's never been said before, but it was said today. All right, AB, you went into the mixer, and what came out was a little bit of everything. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. And let me say, first off, an appreciation for Emory. My man just fired out a CFL pick, an SEC pick, and a SWAC pick, right? I don't think anyone watches more football than Emory Hunt, so that's fantastic. All right, so we've got 2 plays tonight, 2 college football games, and you know what? We're going to have some fun with them. First off, we're going to go Florida State, Louisville, over 56.5. I know it sounds crazy. That being said, Florida State's offense, I think it has figured something out. Mike Norvell, they are going to get the thing going. However, you look at Louisville. Dude, Louisville's taking care of business the last 2 years against Florida State, and do not sleep on your man, Mike Cunningham. Dude, do not sleep on him at Louisville. He is averaging 319 yards per game with 6 total TDs and 0 picks against Florida State. He's handled his business. We're going to take points and a wild finish in that one. Second, we're going to go Air Force team total over 30.5. Yes, we just talked about their rushing game, and I know that Air Force hasn't been great in conference openers. That said, this team just wants to run it down your throat, and I think that they're going to do it tonight. Even if we have some weird weather in Wyoming, which can happen, dude, they run the ball. Like they put the ball up in the air 6 times last week. That's it. Like they are going to run it over and over and over. And even when they're trying to run out the clock, they are scoring over and over and over. So take the over 30.5 there. Now, our last 3 for the NFL this weekend, the no-fly zone is open. We are going to take Joe Flacco over half an interception minus 140, Geno Smith over half an interception minus 140, and Davis Mills over half an interception at minus 120. I hate to do it to my guys, Davis Mills and Geno Smith, because, one, I like watching them play. They're better quarterbacks than people give them credit for, but they're going up in 2 terrible matchups for them this weekend. They're going to be playing from behind a lot. Expect both of them. And then Joe Flacco, I mean, you could just count on this every weekend.
I think you just named our new segment for unders, negative things. I think you just inadvertently named our new segment because, as you know, we've got a big announcement coming up very, very soon. And I want everybody at home to think bigger. Think bigger. That's all I can say right now, but just think bigger. All right. Now, you know that when a man turns in his picks and they are what's coming to you next, I still allow him to be in the maestro spot. And he's given us 2 unders, which, as everybody knows, is my least favorite bet ever. But I know they are necessary. So, Chip Patterson, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence this morning. But, sir, if you don't mind, I would love for you to bring it home for us, please.
Honored with the spot. Got to do the maestro proud right here. We begin in that game on Saturday night in College Station, Miami and Texas A&M. We will be taking the under 44.5. Now, there are two major developments from the last 48 hours that are going to lead to some questions. So let me go ahead and answer them quickly. Number one, what are we doing if Max Johnson starts instead of Haynes King? I do believe Max Johnson is probably a better quarterback for Texas A&M than Haynes King, but Haynes King turns the ball over more. So Max Johnson's going to be a little bit more methodical, probably not going to give us those fumbles or interceptions that Haynes King did, but those might have led to short fields for a Miami offense that is not going to be able to march the length of the field against Texas A&M defensively, because they are going to be down wide receiver Xavier Restrepo. He is the only reliable option at wide receiver. I think that Miami is incredibly limited. They're a little bit banged up, and all of that is going to be very, very problematic for the Hurricanes to score. Love the under here. Now I'm going to give you the whiplash. Parlay them, the whiplash parlay with the under and an over, because what do we know? College Park, a little bit of DC, a little bit of Baltimore. We got a little bit of Go-Go. We got a little bit of Be More Club. All of it is up tempo. Maryland, SMU, basketball on grass in College Park. They're giving you the over-under of 73.5. The spread is 2. That means there ain't going to be no stops. So up-tempo on the dance floor, Maryland and SMU over 73.5. Next, this one, it's a gut check Saturday for some teams. And my gut is telling me that Washington, favored by 3 against the number 11 team in the country. Again, unranked Washington, favored by 3 against the number 11 team in the country. Michigan State might be a little bit overrated right here. So playing at home in Seattle, water in the backdrop, big stage. I think Kalen DeBoer, the new head coach, Michael Penix, his former quarterback from Indiana, I think that they make this Michigan State defense, which has gotten better at rushing the passer, but maybe not on the back end of that defense, exposes Sparty just a little bit. Washington ends up with the statement win and covers the number. And finally, this is one of my favorite plays of the day because it's all about the human element of things. And it's about a midfield. The coaches meet at midfield before the game. And Kirby gets out there. He's like, well, hey, Shane, look, let's do about 3 hours, right? 3 hours and no injuries, okay? Let's have a good game. Nobody gets hurt. Because this game is a gentleman's under. This is a spot where Georgia is going to make it very clear early in the game that South Carolina is not going to be able to get any push on the offensive line. Spencer Rattler is going to be running for his life. Georgia's defense owns this game early. And I think that Shane Beamer, who is all about image, wants to do anything he can to not get blown out. Remember, Shane Beamer was also an assistant on Kirby Smart's staff his first 2 years at Georgia. The gentleman's under sets up for like a 35-10 kind of final score. So if you want to lay the points for the Bulldogs, I don't hate it. But the thing that I am the most confident in is that this game will be short. They're limiting injuries, and it will go under the total.
I say it all the time here on the show. There are levels to this game. And I think if you watch the last 3 minutes or so, those of you who want to do this, that are young and trying to break into the business, that is the ceiling. That is the ceiling. It's how good you got to be. Chip is on one today, Brad says. Thomas says, I love the early edge. Sheboygan. Also, a quick chat question, Chip. Yes. Do we cash Vanderbilt over 2.5 wins?
Yeah, I done told him on Wednesday's show that smart money would try to hedge this out and take Northern Illinois because we're sitting on 2. Our preseason pick was Vanderbilt over 2.5, but I ain't smart money. No. We double down. We double anchor down, and we are going with the doors to get into DeKalb, get that win. And just as it was prophesized, we are over by October. Vanderbilt improves to 3-1 with the win against the Huskies.
Hey, shout out to whoever's running player personnel over at Vanderbilt. Just got to say, doing a fantastic job. Just a fantastic
general manager, the general manager of the Vanderbilt Commodores. He's doing something right there. We got more length, we got more team speed. We're building for the future, baby.
Great hair too. Great hair.
Are you two done? Your little sideshow. Are you done?
I'm giving you insight into the program that is going to cash an over ticket this weekend.
I'm not talking to you. I am not talking to you. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here is the recap courtesy of Jake the Snake our new producer extraordinaire, Emory Hunt. 3 different big plays. Saskatchewan from up north, -7, -110. LSU, +2, also -110. And Jackson State, the fighting Deion Sanders, is -20.5. Then AB, we got 5 big plays. Florida State, Louisville. Let's go over. Let's just root for points. 56.5. Then Air Force, a lot of points we need for them. Let's get to 31, cash that ticket. Then 3 interceptions in the no-fly zone. Joe Flacco, Geno Smith, Davis Mills, and then my man Chip Patterson. Miami, Texas A&M under. Maryland, SMU over 73.5. Boy, that's going to be a fun game to watch. Washington, -3. Do something in the Pac-12, please. And Georgia, South Carolina, under 55 in the gentleman's under agreement. All right. Do not forget, in your feed right now, you want more of these guys? The college football mega preview in your feed. Take the time. Go and watch it. Also, later today, 3:30 Eastern time, early edge in 5. Then at 4 p.m. Eastern time, our props extravaganza with Uncle Dave Richard from Fantasy Football Today and our man Prop Stars. So with that being said, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Emory Hunt, AB, Chip Patterson, the snake on the 1s and the 2s. I am the coach. Tell all your friends, it doesn't matter the day, the time, the sport. It doesn't matter. We are always here every day on the early edge. Good luck.